Now, we're going to talk about how to form the subjunctive in the present in Spanish. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the first person in the normal present tense, the indicativo, of the verb. So, let's take, for example, the verb comprar. Okay, so the first person in the present of the indicative would be compro, yo compro. So the first person means yo, me. Then what we do is we remove the O and then we're going to add the appropriate ending. Okay, so when you remove the O, you're left with what we call the stem. Okay, so this C-O-M-P-R, that's the stem. Okay, now to that stem, depending on whether it is an AR, IR, or ER verb, we're going to add a certain ending. So let's look at them now. Let's look at AR verbs. So we have a verb comprar. So we knock off the O, you're left with the stem, compr, okay, and now we're going to add the ending. So if it is for yo, it's going to be compre. For tú, es. For él or ella or usted, we're going to use e. For nosotros or nosotras, we're going to use hemos. For vosotros or vosotras, we're going to use eis. And then for ellos, ellas, or ustedes, we're going to use en. Okay, so that will be compre, compres, compre, compremos, compréis, compren. Now, if it's an ER verb, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to knock off the O. We're left with the stem, and we're going to add the following endings. So, for yo, it's going to be a, as. For tú, él or ella. For usted, a. Amos for nosotros, nosotras. Ais for vosotros, vosotras. And an for ellos, ellas, and ustedes. And then it's going to be the exact same for IR verbs. So notice how the subjunctive endings for ER verbs and IR verbs are the same. Okay, so let's just look at some examples I've written here. Por ejemplo, mi madre quiere que yo me coma toda la cena. So my mother wants me to eat all my dinner. Okay? So again, in Spanish, it would be my mother wants that. So we have the que again, followed by the subjunctive. Que me coma toda la cena. And then the second example is dudo que compre, que él or ella, compre un regalo a su amigo. So I doubt that he or she will buy a present or a gift for his or her friend. Okay. One other important thing is that not all verbs in Spanish are going to work in the same manner as I just described, with knocking off the O and adding the endings. So some verbs have irregular stems, let's say. So I have put a list of the 6 most, let's say, most frequent verbs, although there are others as well which are irregular, and their irregular endings in the present subjunctive. So let's look at the first verb. We have ser, to be. Okay, so it goes yo sea, tú seas, él or ella or usted sea, nosotros nosotras seamos, vosotros vosotras seáis, and then ellos ellas and ustedes sean. Okay. Next one is ir, to go. It goes vaya, vayas, vaya, vayamos, vayáis, vayan. Next one is dar, to give. So it goes de, des, de, demos, deis, den. Next one is haber, which means there is or there are, right? I, okay. But it's also used to form what we call the present perfect, okay? So I have done, I have spoken. In Spanish, this would be he hecho, he hablado. Okay, maybe you've seen that already, maybe you haven't. It's okay. So, the haber in the first person, yo, will go to haya. second person, tú hayas, haya. The next one, hayamos, hayáis, and haya. Now, the second last one is estar, okay, which we all know is the other verb to be, okay, and it goes esté, estéis, esté, estemos, estéis, estén. And my mistake, there should be a little accent over the first E here in the first verb, the first one, esté. And then last we have saber, okay, to know about something. So, saber goes sepa, 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 sepamos, sepáis, and sepan. So those are some of the most common irregular ones. There are more. It's a question of just studying them and practicing. The last point I'd like to focus on is that the subjunctive is also used when referring to the future. So it's used with future time expressions. Okay, so for example, with cuando, when we are talking about the future. For example, cuando sea mayor, seré rico. When I am older, I will be rich. Okay, so it's not used with cuando, for example, cuando voy al colegio, estudio durante 8 horas. It's not that cuando, it's cuando when referring to the future. Okay, next one is la próxima vez que, so the next time that I, or that he or she or whatever. So, la próxima vez que vaya a Londres. So we don't say la próxima vez que voy. La próxima vez que vaya a Londres compraré regalos. So the next time I go to London, I will buy presents. And then lastly, en cuanto or tan pronto como, which both mean as soon as. Okay, so en cuanto llegue a casa, te llamo. Okay, so as soon as I get home, I'll call you. Or tan pronto como llegue a casa, te llamo. So, I hope that the video has been useful. Espero que el video os haya servido, os haya sido útil. Y para recapitular un poco, so to recap a little bit, the subjunctive is a widely used mood in Spanish that is essential to master at least at a higher level if you want to get the best grade possible. And I showed you the acronym WEIRDO to show you when we use it. So the W being wishes, the E standing for emotions, I for impersonal expressions, starting with S, usually like S bueno. The R was requests and recommendations. The D was doubt or denial. So when something isn't sure, the speaker isn't sure about something. And then the last one was with ojalá, okay, which means I hope or I wish. And then I taught you this other one, which is with future time expressions. So we have cuando, la próxima vez que, and en cuanto or tan pronto como. Bueno, espero que os haya gustado el vídeo y si tenéis alguna duda, algún comentario, alguna pregunta, lo que sea, me lo podéis dejar ahí abajo y nos volveremos a ver en el siguiente vídeo. Bueno, hasta luego, chicos.